So there's actually a whole other side to art and creativity that doesn't necessarily use a recognizable image or clearly recognizable image. And usually that's referred to as working abstractly. That is, what you are doing is abstracted from what you're seeing. So I teach a class like this, and it's always really exciting. Teaching people to see and create abstractly is kind of a whole other thing, because it's more internalized, actually. You have to kind of not listen to yourself, just feel, not think about a lot. It's actually, I think, very close to meditating. And when I started doing paintings like this, and maybe it's because of the meditating type quality of this kind of activity, I began to see light different, a whole other different kind of light, and that's in color. And I had some pictures of clouds, and I was looking at clouds. We were out at the beach, I saw a beautiful sunset, and I said, you know, that's light too. And I'd like to do a painting just imbued with that kind of illumination. So I started this, and it took off. Some people were interested in, and then now I am doing a class in the sort of abstract kind of expressionistic, impressionistic area, and it's been a lot of fun. So I thought I would demonstrate this, to share it with you, so that you can see this wonderful light-making technique. And basically, my subject matter is cloud-like. I got really hung up with those clouds at the beach. So that's what I'm working on. But I think that this technique can be taken into other areas of landscape and still life and even portraits to depict light in this colorful. I am using what's called a flow type acrylic paint. So they usually come in a bottle. They're thinner than the ones that come in a tube. And I have purchased these online. And then also I found these smaller bottles in really beautiful colors at the Home Depot, which was a lovely thing. I do have some brushes here, and then a container of water there. And then I recently purchased a palette. This is a lovely palette. It's big, which I needed, but also when the paint dries, it just peels off, which is just wonderful. And so I think I'm just about ready to start. I have a canvas over here on my easel. It's a wrapped canvas, which is nice. It gives me a chance to paint in the round and around. I'm ready to start. This is a fairly quick way of painting for the most part. I sometimes like to have a little music on in the background just to motivate me. And again, what I always work at is the feeling, the light that is going to be developing from this, and not thinking about it too much. I have to, in this case, sort of let the painting develop itself. Of course, I want to paint around that edge. The really fun thing about this is not really knowing how it's going to turn out. I have some feelings about what I'd like to do, but I'm going to let the painting develop itself. Ooh, I'd like to have a little music on in the background to orchestrate my paintings. me kind of move through this. And I'm finding that the combinations of colors like violet and blue are really nice. I'll bring a little green in here. Maybe some yellow over here. And the atmosphere, the feeling of this starts to develop. I say to my students, don't think about what you're doing so much as feel it. And you really have to look at what the painting is doing as you're doing it. So I'm liking this combination of yellows and greens. Maybe I can make this sort of implication of a kind of a landscape down here. Now we're going to bring in another color. It almost looks like a kind of a blush. And work over that a little bit. Now I'm really liking this touch of red here. I had to change the light a little bit here because it's gotten dark outside, and I think it's going to rain again. It's been raining all day. I'm finding, speaking of rain, there's a lot of color in gray clouds if you look very carefully. I want to capture the movement of weather. I like to have that music on. One of the hardest things to do is to not think, but just let your eyes Let my eyes just believe what I'm doing and make that environment. I'll bring in a little of that red here. Bring it right down to the ground. So there's sort of a red light on the horizon. Maybe echoed over here. Maybe bring this out a little bit more here with white. The white will bring that cloud shape forward. Maybe bring in some reflections, yellow. It's storm-like. Clouds are descending onto the landscape. They're coming down to earth. So I want some hazy areas, and then I want some chunky areas where there's a lot of turmoil, where the air is whirling around. Maybe just a little more white here to bring that out. So that comes forward. Now bring the red in a little bit again. If I do this fast enough, I really don't have time to think at all, which is great. Just feel. And I still want to consider a composition in the sense that it still has to work as an environment. And my eyes tell me when it works that way. I'm thinking that it's working pretty much that way right now. I like when I can't really tell the difference between where the ground is and where the clouds are coming in. So I'm thinking that this painting is finished. I really like the colors. A lot of them, I couldn't have guessed those combinations. Sort of misty, you know, a lot of weather developing, some turmoil, but also some soft areas of color. It was a lovely meditation. Give this a try. This is a wonderful way of painting, and it's very freeing. You sort of just soar when you paint this way. Get away up above the clouds, looking down at the earth and flying and being disconnected.